The Smithsonian American Art Museum has the largest collection of Amish quilts of any art museum. The quilts in this collection showcase depth and breadth in this really amazing way. I'm Janneken Smucker. I'm a historian, and I've spent the last 20 or so years studying quilts. There's great diversity within Amish quilt making. The quilts in this collection were made in Amish settlements in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois, and possibly in some other Midwestern communities as well. Amish women made the quilts in this collection. Perhaps some men helped out, but predominantly it was a women's craft. I wish we knew their names. Unlike paintings, most quilts are not signed. These weren't made as art objects to hang in a museum. They were made for home use, mostly from the very late 19th century through probably the first half of the 20th century. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, art enthusiasts recognized similarities between Amish quilts and the abstract modernist art that was very popular in the mid-20th century. These objects, they are spectacular. They are individual works of art. The first thing is really connecting with them visually. The colors, the geographic shapes, the big pieces, little pieces, the stitches that hold the three layers of a quilt together. This is a center square quilt from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. It's really similar in some ways to like a Josef Albers painting. Minimal colors, minimal decorative devices, but that really graphic simplicity had great appeal to people who are accustomed to looking at abstract modern art. This pattern is called Ocean Waves. It almost makes your eyes hurt, it feels like the quilt is spinning just on the way the little triangles interact with one another. Tumbling blocks is one of the most visually dynamic quilt patterns, and one that requires really precise technical skills in piecing it. The geometry involved is very detailed. It's 60-degree diamonds that are fit together, really precise point in the center to create this cube. For over a century, we've used the phrase crazy quilt as a metaphor to describe haphazard things thrown together to make sort of a pleasing whole. This quilt we call Crazy Star. You can see why it's called crazy, right? You can see how many individual pieces of fabric form that background. In contrast, this crazy quilt from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, I call this a contained crazy quilt because each of the crazy blocks is separated by a solid colored, is very staid. I don't know if I could actually choose a favorite quilt in this collection, but probably think it might be this one. I wish I knew something about this quilt maker. Her choices are just amazing. And it's such a showstopper, an individualistic quilt, unlike anything else, unlike any other quilt you see in this collection or anywhere else.
I'm Faith Brown, and my husband Stephen and I have been collecting quilts for more than 50 years.
And we're happy to have donated our Amish quilt collection to the Smithsonian American Art Museum.
In 1973, we saw an exhibit at the Renwick Gallery of American quilts, and that really captured our attention.
I took one look in the gallery and I thought, whoa, this is nothing like what I imagined these quilts would be. We were especially taken by the Amish quilts. It was around 1977. And we ended up buying our first Amish quilt. The first quilt we bought was called Old Maid's Puzzle. We have altogether now about 130 some Amish quilts. We've always felt that we were temporary custodians of these quilts. There comes a time when you have to think what's going to happen to your collection. We ultimately decided to choose SAAM also because SAAM is, kind of America's museum.
We wanted to find an institution where it would be transformational. It's taken us years to find the right home.